Hi everybody, thank you for joining me once again. Today, obviously, I'm going to continue the topic of Harry and Meghan in Australia. How can I not, unless I want to be completely out of the loop? It will also be a good way to introduce the rest of the subject, namely the links and delusions of the rich and famous as illustrated by the British royal family. Okay, guys, now we are not stupid, are we? Do you want to tell me 46,000 people signed a petition? Every single day, Australians spoke about and criticised Harry and Meghan's visit to Australia, yet not a single protest, not a single boo. You really want to tell me that although every day Australians battle to get and pay for petrol and diesel, they applaud two delusional, uneducated idiots who pull up in 3 to 4 SUVs, that they are all overjoyed that this is happening at this point in time? You want to tell me that Australians are so thick that they do not mind these two sweaty, dirty, plastic, inauthentic people exploiting and photographing truly sick children for their PR, but they can't and won't show the faces of their own two children who are number 6 and number 7 in line to the throne and supposedly perfectly healthy? Do you really think Australians are that stupid? No, they are not. I have more than a handful of friends and relatives in Australia, and therefore I know that Australians, like South Africans, are a little less woke and a little more prone to say what they think. Geez, I even read in one of the newspapers yesterday that although by a narrow margin, Australians still approve of the monarchy. Now, I think that was a big oops. Not only do I not believe it is actually true, but why even bring up the topic if this was indeed a private visit by Harry and Meghan, and if they are no longer working royals? In other words, if Harry and Meghan are no longer part of the monarchy, why would their popularity or not make any difference to the monarchy's popularity? Come on, Australia, and for that matter, come on, New Zealand, Canada, Antigua, Bahamas, Belize, Grenada, Jamaica, Solomon Islands, St. Kitts, St. Lucia, Tuvalu, and let's include the United Kingdom. I mean, why not? Come on, it is time for a referendum. Let the people speak. But you won't, will you? Because most of you know what the outcome will be, don't you? Anyway, I'm going off topic again. Australians are not as stupid and backward as the mainstream media often betray them to be. They are angry, many of them, and there are a few indeed protesting, and there are indeed a few booing. But the media is cutting it all out and deleting it. That photograph I posted yesterday, that one with the yellow placards, where did I find it? I mean, I found it all over. Facebook, Instagram, X, and even on mainstream media. But go look for it on mainstream media today, and it is nowhere to be found. Now, some people came and said, oh, it's AI and da-da-da-da. Well, that doesn't even matter. even if it is AI, okay, even if, why remove it then? But it is nowhere to be found. Not even on X. I haven't checked yet to see whether my post is still up, but never mind. What the media, mainstream media, is also not reporting is that a local but very well-read newspaper called The Australian accused Harry and Meghan of carrying on like Hyacinth Bucket and of standing for platitudes for profit. All of it is being kept from the public at large. Most Australians and everyone watching from elsewhere, we are not getting the true picture. That I can guarantee you. Now, I had someone undercover check for me, and yesterday, 48 hours before Meghan's attendance of the Besties or Live Your Best Life or whatever it's called, those 300 tickets have still not been sold out. Harry is indeed not faring any better. They had to drop the price, and as far as I know, it is still not sold out. But please note that I may be wrong by now, but it was indeed true on Monday morning. Okay. Now let's talk about Meghan appearing on MasterChef. When I saw it on Instagram, I only went, what? Why? Now, that could very well be Sunshine Sax's doing, or even with a little help of old Ted Sarandos. And I don't know why. Honestly, I don't. I have no particular reason, only pure intuition. Sometimes I just think and feel things, okay? But I think Meghan appearing on MasterChef is indeed old Teddy, or shall we say, Darling T's work. But then, my sweeties, Megsy may also have fluttered her eyelids and discreetly, pointed to or opened her. Let's rather move on, okay? The other person who may be responsible for this atrocity could be Brian Robbins, because MasterChef Australia is aired by Channel 10 Australia, and Channel 10 is owned by, drumroll, Paramount Global. Paramount is owned by the Ellison family, and the current CEO is indeed David Ellison, son of 81-year-old Larry Ellison. And guess who the biggest shareholders are? Vanguard and BlackRock. And remember, Larry Fink and Charlie Boy are indeed fairly good mates, I would say. But never mind, also remember that Megsy Baby is also so close to Brian Robbins and his wife Tracy Robbins, remember? Now also remember that Brainy Brian, or Dear B, was the co-CEO of Paramount Global from 2024 to 2025. President and Chief Executive Officer of Paramount Pictures and Nickelodeon from 2021 to 2025 and 2018 to 2025 respectively, and then Chief Content Officer, Movies, Kids and Family, until his departure from the company after the merger between Paramount and Skydance. Now, just a note for you to file away. Robbins is creating a new animation studio titled Big Shot Pictures, and has already signed a first look deal with Sony. So just an idea, okay, as I said, for you to file away, all right. May we see a return of Pearl anytime soon? Look out, dear Tracy. Some people have some pearls to share, and those are not the pearls of wisdom or jewelry. Just saying. So yes, Ted Sarandos, Larry Fink and Brian Robbins, take your pick. It could be the handiwork of Sunshine Sachs, but you know what? I think Sunshine Sachs just took her back to prevent her from slandering and talking shit about them. But I do not see them really going out of their way to drop her on some poor unsuspecting movie maker or director. I just do not at all, okay? A year or two ago, I had regular contact with someone who retired from the industry, but who had some hilarious and some rather furious stories about what people in the industry actually said about Meghan behind her back. And there were also some super funny stuff and some rather disgusting stuff, I must tell you. Stuff which I would rather not repeat, but which you can imagine and guess for yourself. So, I cannot see people from Sunshine Sachs making a complete 360, on things which they said about Meghan Markle a year, 2 years ago. I don't know. Okay, now before I go, Meghan's clothing. Who the fuck is her current stylist? Someone who hates her or Doria? Jeez. First that green monstrosity at the Netflix party. Now, no joke here, but I would not throw that on the floor in the bathroom to stand on, never mind wear it. I had to really search high and low to see where that monstrosity was from. But at last I found that it was the Gale gown by Heidi Merrick, selling at $715. Now they say it is viscose. I do not think so. Maybe it is, but it does not look like viscose. You know what it looks like? It looks like the fabric you use to line a dress or jacket. Cheap and not made to be seen on its own or on the outside of a garment, okay? And I can say that and laugh because I was given meters and meters, an entire cardboard box full of a mustard colored lining fabric. And I'm not joking. I never even bothered to measure it, but it must be somewhere around 20-30 meters of this stuff. And I have had it now for years, and I've used it to line stuff, to cover stuff like waste paper baskets and boxes, and I've cut meters of it off for tablecloths, and to this day I still have some. It is just an awful color and fabric which there isn't much use for. Well, that is exactly what this green fabric looks like. And looking at those puckered seams, geez, and that black zipper, I thought, I really did, that Doria made the dress at first. But I have to admit, the fabric is indeed very hard to work with. It is thin, it is slinky, just awful. Maybe, I'm going to think about it, because maybe it will sort of liven things up again. But maybe as an experiment, I should try and copy that dress in that awful mustard colored fabric, because I'm sure the fabric is the same. Okay. And then perhaps record the process for you and see whether I can do better. Anyway, along with the mustard color, I also got a couple of meters of green, but a slightly thicker, more satiny type of lining. That I did use and actually finished, all right? There is a pair of pants a friend made me with an Indian sari and that green lining. The rest I used to line bags or tops or jackets when I was still doing sewing full time. Now, here she is in Australia, and what is she wearing? Black, brown, black, black. Gosh, who died? Did Doria pack her bags? I don't know. On that note, I'm off and I'll be back tomorrow. So until then, take care, stay safe, bye.